Learning outcomes. After studying this module, you shall be able to know the background of behavioral and social cognitive theories, learn about the applications of each theory, evaluate the relative strengths and weaknesses of the behavioral and social cognitive domains. Introduction. The behaviorist approach to personality emphasizes the importance of environmental or situational determinants of behavior. It suggests that the responses, associations, or habits acquired through learning tend to persist, and therefore behavior is consistent over time and across situations. Behaviorists such as Pavlov, Watson, and Skinner were interested in discovering the universal laws of personality and rejected the notion of an internal personality that directs behavior. For many behaviorists, personality is acquired through classical and operant conditioning. Thus, individual differences in personality arises from the differences in our life experiences. One of the major contributors to this perspective is Skinner. Skinner's behavioral analysis explained the process of learning through operant conditioning and explained how reinforcements can be used to learn or unlearn a maladaptive behavior. However, some behaviorists believe that a purely behavioral account could not fully explain the development of human personality. They believe that internal processes can't be fully excluded from an underlying or understanding of personality. The individual is seen as a perceiver, thinker, and planner who mentally interprets the events around him, thinks about the past, anticipates the future, and decides his behavior. Thus, environmental effects are influenced and even changed by these cognitive processes. The social cognitive theories combine the behavioral and cognitive perspectives into an approach to personality that focus on the interaction between individuals and the social environment that provides them with the opportunities of learning new behaviors. The social cognitive theory states that we learn behaviors through observation, modeling, and motivation, such as positive reinforcement. This approach of personality was proposed by Albert Bandura as a reaction to Skinner's behaviorism. He focused on overt behavior along with the emphasis on the internal cognitive variables which work in interaction with the response and stimulus. Thus, his theory highlighted the SOR relation rather than SR relation. He gives emphasis to the cognitive variables and self-efficacy in the process of modeling a particular behavior. The other major proponents to this theory are Julian Roters, George Kelly, Walter Mischel, and Yuji Soda. All of these theorists have attempted to understand personality in the social settings with emphasis on behavioral and cognitive factors. The principles and concepts of these theories are widely applicable in clinical settings for the purpose of behavior modification and adaptation. Applications of behavior and social cognitive theories of personality. Skinner's behavioral analysis. B.F. Skinner was one of the major proponents of behaviorism during the 20th century. He coined the term operant behavior, meaning that the organism operates on its environment in some way. He argued that there is no such thing as personality. There are only operant behaviors that are strengthened or weakened as a consequence of reinforcement. These behaviors are predictable and primarily controlled by measurable external stimuli. He suggested that the key to understanding personality is to examine the stimulus conditions under which the behaviors have developed in the past and are maintained in the present. He argued that people's behavior can be predicted and controlled like chemical reactions in a test tube. The idea of the inner self, he asserted, is a myth and superstition. He suggests that people behave in ways that are likely to produce reinforcement, and individual differences in behavior result primarily from differences in the kind of learning experiences a person encounters in the course of growing up. He defined operant conditioning as a type of learning in which the behavior is influenced by the consequences that follow it. In this type of learning, the behavior emitted by the organism is under their control, that is, it is voluntary behavior. Any stimulus which increases the probability of a behavior is called a reinforcer. Any stimulus or event which weakens the occurrence of a particular response is called punishment. The principles of operant conditioning can be applied to various fields. Specialized animal training. The principles of chaining and shaping are effectively used to train animals. Animals are often trained to perform in TVs, movies or circus. They are also given training to assist the security forces and people with disability. For example, police dogs help the officers on a routine patrol. They also use their smell or the sense of smell to help to locate a hidden missing person bombs. The US Navy particularly trains the sea lions to locate the sunken nuclear weapons and dolphins to keep track of and patrol the nuclear submarines. Education and workplace. Skinner was very much concerned about the inadequacy of the traditional methods of teaching and learning. He wanted to improve the method of teaching and enhance its effectiveness. Long before the invention of computer, he developed a learning machine based on the principles of immediate performance feedback and self-paced learning. The machine presents the individual with the learning material and then questions the individual and provides him with immediate feedback. The process can be repeated as many times till the individual is not able to learn the material. Behavior modification. Token economies are widely used in medical settings in order to learn the desired behavior. Here the tokens are exchanged for any desirable behavior. The tokens can then be used to acquire something desired by the patient, such as an outing, some recreational activity, a reward or a prize. One has to be cautious while using these techniques. It is important that a reinforcement is given continuously for the desired behavior to occur. Once the reinforcement is stopped, then the behavior may revert back to its original state. Thus, it is important that the caregivers are trained and often reward the desirable behavior with non-tangible gestures like smiles, hug, praise and other signs of affection. This would help in maintaining the behavior for a longer period of time. Despite its wide application, Skinner's behavioral analysis has been criticized for focusing on behaviors one can observe outwardly and emphasizing such concept as reinforcement. Critics argue that such an emphasis diminishes the person in personality and ignores cognitive factors such as beliefs and expectations. Albert Bandura's social cognitive theory. Bandura's social cognitive theory, also referred to by its former name of social learning theory, emphasizes that people learn by observing the behavior of models and acquiring the belief that they can produce behavior to influence events in their lives. Bandura's theory focuses on the SOR relation with an emphasis on the organism. It also challenges the behaviorist SR view of learning. He views modeling as a four-step process which includes cognitive factors such as attention, attend to the model behavior, retention, remember the behavior, reproduction, physically capable of reproducing that behavior, and motivation, motivated to display that behavior. Bandura also gives importance to role self-efficacy in motivating people to learn a behavior and then display that behavior when the situation arises. Some of the major applications of his theory are mentioned below. Fears and phobias. Bandura's theory of learning can be used to modify and unlearn undesirable and irrational behavior. Like Skinner, he also focuses on the external observable aspect of the inappropriate behavior which can be unlearned. He used modeling technique to eliminate fears and other intense emotional responses that often hamper the day-to-day functioning of people. In a classic study, he used the technique of guided participation to treat the phobia of snakes. This technique involves watching a live model perform the fearful behavior and then work with the model. For example, in case of the snake phobia, the participants watched the model handling the snake through the window. Later, they entered the room and took a closer look at the model working with the snake. In the third step, they had put on gloves and touched the middle of the snake with the help of the model. Eventually, they were able to touch the snake with their bare hands. There is another type of modeling called the covert modeling. Here, modeling takes place in the absence of observable model. The participants are instructed to imagine the model coping with fearful situation. Modeling therapy can be done individually or on groups. It can be done by showing films, videos or real life situation, that is first hand observation. Particularly using films and video techniques offer several practical advantages. Anxiety. As noted earlier, behaviors can be modified through the modeling approach. This approach has been used to treat two instances of anxiety: fear of medical treatment and test anxiety. Fear of medical treatment. There are some people who fear the process of medical processes. In certain situations, this fear can be of extreme form and can have severe consequences as people avoid seeking treatment despite their health problems. In a study done on children by Milland and Siegel, divided the children into two groups. The experimental group children were shown a video about a boy's hospital experience. The control group was shown a video of a boy going for a trip. The results showed that the children in experimental group showed much lesser anxiety when they went to the doctor than the children in control group. The results were obtained through direct observation and responses on self-inventories and other psychological measures. Test anxiety. Many students face the problem of test anxiety. In certain situations, it is so serious that it seriously hampers the student's test performance. In a classic research study, a sample of college students were divided into groups based on their personality test scores. Those who scored high on test anxiety were placed in one group and the ones who scored low were in one group. These students were made to see a film. Some students saw a filmed model taking or talking about her test taking anxiety and also sharing ways of coping with this problem. Other students saw a film of the same model where she only mentioned about her test anxiety without mentioning anything about the coping mechanism. Under a third condition, students watched the film model talking about other college activities. After this, the students were given a nonsense labels list that they had to memorize. Later, they were tested on their ability to recall them. The results showed that the subject high in test anxiety group were more strongly affected by the model who talked about coping mechanism, as they performed very well in recalling the list than the other students. Julian Rotter's social learning theory. Rotter's major concern was prediction of human behavior. According to him, there are 4 variables that are very important in predicting the behavior. First, behavioral potential, then expectancy, reinforcement value and the psychological situation. Behavioral potential is the likelihood of a given behavior occurring in particular situation. Expectancy is a person's expectation of being reinforced. Reinforcement value is the person's preference for a particular reinforcement, and the psychological situation refers to a complex pattern of cues that a person perceives during a specific time period. Internal external control and the IE scale. The IE scale developed by Rotter is used to measure the control orientation among both the children and adults. That is, the degree to which they perceive the occurrence of outcomes due to their own efforts or due to the environmental consequences. It is a 23-item test. The scoring range is from 0 to 23. Higher scores indicate greater externality. A large amount of research has been done on the IE concept. Studies have suggested how changes in lifespan affect our IE orientation. People tend to become more internally oriented as they grow older. Similarly, role of education has been identified in making people more internally oriented as education expands people's ability to solve the problem. Some religions also teach their followers that they are not helpless or powerless in the face of difficulties and that God is there to support them and encourage them. They then work harder to achieve their goals. A number of situation-specific scales have also been developed based on this theory, such as work locus of control scale, drinking related locus of control scale, and the health locus of control scale. Investigators have reported that professionals working in this field prefer these scales as they provide them with more accurate predictions of behavior than in the case when a generalized IE scale is used. Interpersonal trust scale. Interpersonal trust is defined as a generalized expectancy held by an individual that the word, promise, oral or written statement of another individual or group can be relied on. The interpersonal trust scale developed by Rotter is a 25-item scale where the participants have to either agree or disagree to the statements. The scores are added for each statement and a total is calculated. The higher the score, the greater is interpersonal trust. Low scores indicate a generalized expectancy of distrust. Research on this scale suggests that people who score high on interpersonal trust scale are less likely to lie, cheat, steal, more likely to forgive others, respect the right of others, and are more reliable and popular. They are also less unhappy and maladjusted. Maladaptive behavior. According to Rotter's social learning theory, maladaptive behavior is one which prevents the person from reaching their desired goals. It arises as a result of unrealistically high goals in accordance to one's resources or strengths. It occurs due to high need value and low freedom of movement. Thus, maladjusted individuals set non-attainable goals, indulge in improper behavior, have inadequate skills and unreasonably low expectancies of being able to execute the behaviors necessary for positive reinforcement. George Kelly's personal construct theory. Kelly's personal construct theory has been found to be highly influential in the field of abnormal psychology and psychotherapy. According to him, psychologically unhealthy people tend to cling to their old and outdated personal constructs. They have a fear that by adopting a new personal construct, it would disturb their present comfortable way of seeing the reality. Kelly in 1955 defined a disorder as any personal construction which is used repeatedly in spite of consistent invalidation. Because psychologically disturbed people, like everyone else, have their own personal construction system, Kelly rejected the traditional classification of abnormalities. He identified 4 common elements of psychopathology: threat, fear, anxiety and guilt. According to Fist and Fist, people experience threat when they perceive that the stability of their basic constructs is likely to be shaken. When the person is suddenly confronted by the incidental change in his core constructs, he experiences fear. Thus, threat is a more comprehensive change and fear is an incidental one. They defined anxiety as the recognition that the events with which one is confronted lie outside the range of convenience of one's construct system. People are likely to feel anxious when they are experiencing a new event. Kelly defined guilt as the sense of having lost one's core role structure. That is, people feel guilty when they behave in ways that are inconsistent with their sense of who they are. Walter Mischel and Yuichi Soda's cognitive affective personality system. Walter Mischel and Yuichi Soda's 1995 cognitive affective personality system explains why and how people's behavior vary across situations. Mischel argued that a person's behavior is determined by external environment, which is the way more powerful than the dispositional traits. He viewed people as active, goal-directed individuals who can exert influence on their situations and themselves. Thus, Mischel and Soda asserted that we can find about the consistent traits of individuals by taking into account the situations as it is perceived by the individual and by analyzing the behavior in its situational context. One of the major contributions of Mischel and Soda's theory is our understanding of concept of self-regulation. Self-regulation can be defined as an individual's ability to delay gratification and work towards set goals. Mischel conducted a marshmallow experiment on children to examine the mental processes that enable a child to delay their gratification and wait for a better reward. The preschoolers were given a marshmallow. They were given the choice of eating either the snack right away or waiting for 15 minutes so as to get 2 snacks. These children displayed different degrees of self-control. They were followed by the next few years through high school. It was found that children who had shown more self-control during preschool were more likely to be successful in high school. They had better SAT score and better peer relation than the children who had less self-control during the preschool. They were also less likely to engage in substance abuse and had harmonious relationship as adults. Thus, way an individual interprets the situation will determine his self-control and he will behave in accordance with that interpretation. Summary. According to the behavioral and social cognitive perspective, we learn behaviors through observation, modeling and motivation such as positive reinforcement. The major proponents are B.F. Skinner, Albert Bandura, Julian Roters, George Kelly, Walter Mischel and Yuichi Soda. All of these theorists have attempted to understand personality in the social setting with emphasis on behavioral and cognitive factors. The principles and concepts of these theories are widely applicable in clinical settings for the purpose of behavior modification and adaptation. B.F. Skinner is a major proponent of operant conditioning, a type of learning in which the behavior emitted by the organism is under their control. That is, it is voluntary behavior. The principles of training and shaping of operant conditioning are effectively used to train animals. Skinner also wanted to improve the method of teaching and enhancing its effectiveness. He developed a learning machine based on the principles of immediate performance feedback and self-paced learning. The machine presents the individual with the learning material and then questions the individual and provides them with immediate feedback. He also focused on the issue of work motivation, giving importance to the role of work environment. Token economies are widely used in the medical settings in order to learn the desired behavior. Bandura's social cognitive theory focuses on the SOR relation with the emphasis on the organism. Bandura also gives importance to role self-efficacy in motivating people to lead a behavior and then display that behavior when the situation arises. Bandura's theory of learning can be used to modify and unlearn the undesired and irrational behaviors. He used modeling technique to eliminate fears and other instance emotional responses which often hamper the day-to-day functioning of the person. This approach can also be used to treat anxiety. Rotter's major concern was prediction of human behavior. According to him, there are 4 variables that are very important in predicting the behavior: behavior potential, expectancy, reinforcement value, and the psychological situation. Internal external locus of control forms a core of the social learning theory. IE scale developed by Rotter is used to measure the control orientation among both children and adults, that is, the degree to which they perceive the occurrence of result due to their own efforts or due to environmental consequences. He also developed the interpersonal trust scale. According to Rotter, psychotherapy is a learning process where the maladaptive behavior is unlearned and adaptive behavior is learned, which would help individuals to accomplish their goals. George Kelly developed the personal construct theory, which states that an individual's personality consists of mental constructs called personal constructs, which helps him to make a sense of their reality. Kelly's personal construct theory has been found to be highly influential in the field of abnormal psychology and psychotherapy. Kelly believed that psychological distress arises when people have difficulty validating their personal constructs, anticipating future events and controlling their present environment. When distress becomes unmanageable, they may seek outside help in the form of psychotherapy. Thus, he gives a form of therapy called fixed role therapy. The client selects the goals of the therapy and the role of the therapist is only to assist the client to make changes in his faulty construction system, to help him to take a better perspective of the world around them and improve his efficiency in making prediction. Kelly also developed a test called the REP test, which he used to measure the ways in which people constitute significant others in their life. Walter Mischel and Yuichi Soda's cognitive affective personality system explains why and how people's behavior vary across situations. One of the major contributions of Mischel and Soda theory is our understanding of the concept of self-regulation. The behavior and social cognitive domain has certain advantages. First, this approach is based on widely accepted and well documented principles of psychology. Second, it points to a complex interaction between internal factors, external stimuli and behavior. Third, it takes into account both the influence of personal environment interaction and cognitive processes while analyzing the human behavior. Fourth, it considers social implication of human behavior and takes a reasonable view of human beings.